Google is apparently completely cool with Adblock advertising on YouTube.
Are they cool with it, or was it just there?
So you know
there's a difference.
you know how when there's like an inflammatory thing that you're reporting on,
Yes.
whether you cosplay as a journalist or not, you sort of just have a moral, you might say, obligation to reach out and get the other side of the story. So
Did we do so?
because that's just kind of basic human decency, I reached out to Google asking, yo, what's the deal with all of these ads that I'm getting for this service
thank
called
God, the
Pi? So this is Pi Adblock, which I don't know is maybe going to get the WAN show freaking takedowned by YouTube, because you might remember this. Recently, we did a video, part 2 of De-Google Your Life, where we talked, yes, about the boogeyman Adblock and how to use it on YouTube. Okay, so I'm showing this right now. But
So
the
is
only
this-
reason I'm aware of Pi, Luke, is because I keep getting fed ads for it on YouTube. And talking to some of the other writers here, they've been apparently getting a lot of ads for Pi as well. So let me, you know what? I'll actually read the document that our writing team so graciously prepared for us. Do you recognize these people? Sorry, what is this? Ah, yes. Okay. Mr. Jordan Block went and look at all this work he did for us. Boom. He's got the People's Internet. Yeah, here we go. The People's Internet. Okay. So do you recognize any of these ads? These are all ads for Pi.
No.
Okay. Well, I bet you guys do.
So far, still no.
The only thing I see is I have YouTube Premium. Oh, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I have YouTube Premium. I don't.
Well, I don't have YouTube Premium on my work account.
Are these the people that read ads for everything? Is that the point?
Well, those are just like those are the like the ads for it. Those are the thumbnails for them.
How would I recognize the people though?
Well, because they're in the ads for Pi.
Oh, so it's basically asking if I've seen the ad before.
Yeah. I'm just asking if you've seen the ad before.
No.
Well, whatever. Honey co-founder Ryan Hudson is back with a new project, the Pi Adblocker, which seems to be advertising absolutely everywhere recently, including on YouTube. Google's ad transparency site shows that Pi has approximately 40 different text ads and 800 different video ads active in Google Ads when we checked earlier today.
800.
Pi says that you can block ads and get paid. Although the Pi FAQ seems mostly concerned with distancing themselves from Honey/PayPal. This discovery, on my part, comes just 7 months after Google unilaterally removed our De-Google Your Life Part 2 video for violating YouTube's community guidelines as potentially harmful or dangerous content, which it turns out translates to telling people how to block ads on YouTube. So I reached out to YouTube and, by my standards, very politely, asked, what the f*** is this? I was a little frustrated by the experience, to say the least. I basically said, hey, so what's the deal with this? Like, what is the policy distinction between me posting a video talking about ad blocking on YouTube versus an advertiser paying for positioning for their ad blocker on YouTube? And they basically went, oh, well, I don't know. You'll have to get me the ad ID of that ad. And I'm kind of sitting here going, well, what does that even mean? Why does it matter? Why do you need the ID of the like? It felt like I was just being asked to jump through a completely unnecessary hoop. This is an ad for an ad blocker. So they have a domain. Presumably, you, Google, the entity, have an ad service that knows what the domain an ad that people click on goes to. Find one that goes to that domain and let me know. Right? Am I missing something here?
No.
If it goes to this ad blocker, just find anyone. I don't care. It doesn't have to be the exact one. Why does this is an irrelevant detail? Anyway, we jumped through the hoop. Jordan very helpfully found me an ID, and also you can see got that that helpful little link that shows how many of these flippin' video ads
crazy,
they have running right now, which Google could have easily done. They could have just gone and found that list and then shown me, responded via about any one of them. Basically, so I sent that over to them, and they're kind of like, oh, well, Google's divisions have a lot of separation. So ads have a different set of policies compared to YouTube videos, and there is currently no policy against advertising an ad blocker, even though that ad blocker appears as content on f***ing YouTube.
What if you buy ads for the Googlify Your Life video?
Apparently, that's kosher. What?
So making people watch it, it's more okay than having it be optional. If the content is bad, it's more okay if you make people watch it than if you make it optional for them to watch. That's what is being communicated to me personally. That's what I'm taking from this.
And CatOS points out that ads on YouTube are videos on the platform, like in terms of how they work on the back end.
Yeah.
So you 100% can upload a video to YouTube that contains instructions for ad blocking, as long as you do an ad buy against it.
I wonder what other YouTube rules you can break. Like, how far can you take that? Because there's a lot of things that I could think in Google ads that are against YouTube terms of service.
Chewy, our community coordinator, I don't know what the heck his job title is, but whatever, he's cool. He says in chat, if you stop paying for the video to be shown as an ad, will it then get struck down? I don't know.
It's a good question.
I don't know.
I feel like no, but it's a good question.
I just... Look, I feel like this is one of those times when people are going to try to find some gotcha. So let me clarify my stance. I don't use ad blockers. That is a personal choice that I've made because I am a content creator, and it would feel pretty hypocritical of me to use ad blockers when I am both aware of and educate people on the impact that it has on content creators. I do not and have never said, never use an ad blocker, you fucking monster, horrible people. I have never said that. That has never happened. If you think it happened, you imagined it, or someone lied to you and told you that it happened. That is the only...
You said it to me behind the scenes.
That is the only way that those things could have been an experience that you had. We have explicitly provided instructions on ad blocking before on our channel. We've done a video on Pi-hole. We have the Google Your Life video.
Multiple times.
We've discussed our histories as pirates before we could afford to buy things extensively on the WAN show. So
no.
The big controversy is I said ad blocks piracy because it is, and some people got butthurt. That's pretty much what it boils down to. But I never said, don't do piracy. I never said, put away your eye patch and your tricorn hat. I just said, well, it's a form of piracy. You're circumventing the payment on the platform, therefore piracy. It's kind of simple. It's actually really simple. So I'm not upset that Google is promoting ad blockers on a platform where I rely on ads. What I'm upset about is the hypocrisy that we are seeing from, and I get
100%.
it. I get it. Companies have silos. You know, they'll have different policies. They'll have different teams. There's all these factors that I think people who have never worked for a larger company don't consider. It is not surprising to me that this happened. What is surprising to me, though, is now that it's been flagged, that it is not just, obvious that this should not be. Because if your policy is that because of user safety, potentially harmful or dangerous content, that my video showing people how to block ads on YouTube was removed, not just they contacted me and we had a conversation and we agreed to take it down. No, removed. And then they contacted me. Actually, I think I read about it on Reddit first. I don't actually remember. The point is they just ripped the video down. So that's what happens there. But if you're running it as an ad, well, I don't know. It's a different team. I don't know. What? That doesn't make any sense. But hey, they had a good earnings call there. They're up how many points? I can't remember.
Yeah.
And we've got a couple other points here. It wasn't long ago, 2023, that Google sponsored a conference for Adblock developers, and at least 5 Google employees gave presentations at the same time that YouTube was getting more aggressive in dealing with ad blocking. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me that much. Unique username says, not to be that guy, Linus, but I don't think anyone ever used the word piracy for what you described, so at least some confusion is warranted. IMO. I'm sorry, I just actually don't think it's that complicated. Yeah, it's circumvention of payment for a digital product. Like,
personal gain.
Right, like that's what we call it. We don't call it theft because if you don't remove it or whatever, whatever the rationalization is, right? Like if you don't actually remove it from the possession of the person who has it, then it can't be theft. I'm like, sure, okay. Like it doesn't matter. It's all semantics, right? Like that's the whole point, is that someone has a thing, they set a price for it, you decided no, and you took it anyway. So you call it whatever you want, right? But the point is that it is functionally the same thing. But it's really not the point today, because I just don't care. I just don't care. You do whatever works for you. And if you have like a super guilty conscience or whatever, and it makes you like really mad when someone calls you out and is like, that's what you're doing, that's your thing. You go deal with that. You talk to your therapist about it. You talk to your mom about it. You talk to your friends about it.
Or just don't care.
Or just don't care. Or go on Temu while you still can and order a tricorn hat and an eye patch. That's also an option.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are dusting them off right now.
Dude,
big time.
Dude, did Netflix just raise pricing again?
I didn't. I feel like that is a statement.
I could say that anytime.
A question and answer that is permanently true. Yeah.
We should.
Okay. I sent you this.
We should have an LTT eye patch.
It's a pretty good idea.
That's actually a really good idea. Dan, can you send it to the team?
Yes.
And tricorn hat. And then you get it, if it's a combo, then you get them at a lower price. And if you steal them from us, you get it for free. Which, I mean, is sort of...
That's kind of how that works.
That kind of goes without saying.
A group that did a price increase in a way that I think was really cool recently, and I sent to you, was Dropout. Remember that?
Yes.
Dropout. Why is my thing not working? Oh, it's dropout.tv. I was doing dropout.com. Anyways, they had a video on it, and you can tell they did something right here when the video on them increasing their pricing was like very well liked, and the comments are really positive.
Yeah, it was like 1 minute long
I can
too.
Even find it.
It was really short.
Dropout. Price
Basically,
increase.
they were just like, yeah, we're increasing pricing, but it's only for new people.
Here we go. Price change warning.
2 minutes. But I watched it at 1.75, so it probably took me a minute.
Yeah, it's so short. Vlogbrothers responded with "just charge me more, dork," and people liked it. This comment, when you have something special, when an announcement that you're raising your prices has an overwhelmingly positive comment section, and it's legit, and it's because they did it in a cool way.
Well, they didn't even do it in a cool way. They just did it the way it should be done. And everyone else sucks.
Yeah. I think it was, it goes up for new customers and it goes up for returning customers. So if you canceled and are coming back, it went up as well.
I will do you one better. Our returning customers keep their existing pricing. But we might have to change that at some point. That probably doesn't make sense forever. Because
what if someone's returning from 2017?
Yeah. Are they really a returning customer? I think the way that YouTube defines a new viewer to the channel is it's either 90 days or 30 days or something like that.
I wouldn't mind having a buffer. That seems reasonable.
I think a little buffer might be reasonable, but I think if someone's coming back after a year or whatever, they can just... Clearly, they're doing the thing where they buy for 1 month, download everything, then cancel and then watch it, and that's fine. But then they can pay.
You can pay full price.
They can pay a couple dollars more.
Yeah,
it's not going to kill them.
I just wanted to point out because, again, we talk about how there's a lot of negative news. So
okay, hold on.
That was 3 weeks ago, but I thought it was cool.
Okay, Deep Blue 7. I use ad blockers because I don't want to pay for the content. I don't use ad blockers because I don't want to pay for the content. I use them because I don't want companies to track me. And there's like a whole bunch more about why you use them. I'm not judging. Again, I can't make this clear enough.
At no point in time.
We have literally made videos on how to do what you're doing, and we've talked about the benefits.
We will probably continue helping you.
We will. We're talking about it right now. I am mad because my video on de-Googling your life, which included how to run ad blockers on YouTube, was taken down.
We're very annoyed that we weren't able to give you the info on how to block ads.
Don't
Don't get it
interpret
twisted.
this the wrong way. I choose not to use them. That's a personal choice. You choose to use them for whatever reason you like. And that is your personal choice.
And that's a legit reason.
And it's piracy. And I don't care. And you shouldn't care either if you don't care.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all. It's okay. It's okay. You know what? You don't need to talk to your therapist about it anymore. I will be that for you. We're going to take whatever parasocial relationship we had and we're going to go like this. We're going to turn it up to 11.
Oh, man.
All right. Our discussion question on this topic is, why didn't you warn us about pi, Linus?
Yeah.
Why didn't I?
Why didn't you?
Why didn't I?
Honestly, disappointed.
I don't click on ads, so I didn't know what it was. I just could tell that it was an ad blocker. So I basically got mad at YouTube.
I was
like,
super sus because this is the first time I've ever heard of this.
Yeah.
And they say get paid. And I was immediately like, oh, what's going on? So they say browse, you got to read the whole line. Browse ad-free with Pi Adblock and earn cash rewards for the ads you choose to see. I read some Reddit threads real quick and stuff.
Isn't this just Brave?
I think it's kind of like distributed Brave. I think. You can just put it on other browsers. I found this interesting. Featured by Google, verified by Google.
Can you? Go to the actual Chrome store though. Is it actually? Is that real?
They don't link.
That looks like an image. I don't think that even pulls like from the API or anything.
I did not Play Store.
That looks fake.
What am I doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
It's right here though. It found it anyways. Good job, Google. It didn't say featured on here.
Okay.
But it does have a lot of ratings. It does have
that number of ratings though.
Yeah. They have a good record. I thought this was interesting. They flagged themselves as a non-trader. I don't know if that's legitimate.
A trader? What's a trader?
So I had to do a bunch of research on this a while back because we had to flag Floatplane as a trader. But I think that's because we receive payment. They don't receive payment, but if they are sending payment, I feel like they would still be a trader. And I feel like they're trying to get away from this because it notes on the end there.
What if they're sending payment, but they're not sending any to Russia or China? Are they still a trader?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, TRADER, to be clear. And it says, for consumers in the European Union, please note that consumer rights do not apply to contracts between you and this developer.
Chat knows what I want. Where's my ding?
Oh.
I'm like conditioned now. I'm the dog. I gotta.
You need your gratification.
I need my ding.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I missed your joke.
I didn't even think it was really like a joke.
I wasn't listening.
You're playing on the word trader, yeah. But it was just like...
That's classic ding. That's classic ding.
Classic ding.
Classic ding.
You get a makeup ding.
Dan knows.
You get a makeup ding.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, that feels good.
I'm sorry, Linus.
That feels good.
I took that from you.
Okay, what are we supposed to be talking about? What are you even talking about? Oh, traders, right. Trader Joe.
Sorry, Dan saying I'm sorry I took that from you was way too funny. Oh, God. I took that from you.
I took it from you. I made it.
Okay, sorry. Oh, man. Extremely normal employee-boss interactions.
Oh, yeah. Jordan says, as soon as I started writing this topic, we couldn't get a Pi ad to come up no matter what we tried. Is Google watching the WAN doc? Hi, Google. No, probably not, Jordan. Probably they just paused their campaigns. Apparently, I've watched a couple of videos that I'm not sure if I was supposed to watch about like how bigger organizations who do a lot, like tens of millions of dollars a year of this kind of advertising work, and they are like cycling through creative. They're like cycling through campaigns at a rate that was already back then like unfathomable to me, like the size of the teams that would need to work on this. And now that you can have AI agents that would do this kind of stuff, I'm sure that it's 10x, 100x what it was before. It's pretty wild. So probably they just had a campaign paused and they were working on changeover or something.
This is not a topic, but there's a lot of really nefarious advertising going on right now, which is undisclosed advertising with fake AI creators talking about like life change stuff.
Life change stuff.
One that I saw
Like puberty?
recently.
Are you going through the change? Do you have hair
difficult. Yeah, it's very new.
in places?
I haven't had it before. it's a lot to.
Do you want to talk about it?
That would help. You are the therapist now. Look at me. Okay. Anyways, the one that I saw was one account that was constantly. It was always women, but they're all different. And it was clearly not like a stories account. These were clearly just AI generated. And it would talk about how they moved to this new country to get away from whatever. And this current one was like, oh, the one that I saw, I think was I moved to Poland, I'm pretty sure, to get away from the Trump administration. And I was happy with all these different things. And I learned that by law, you have to have a water filter, and my hair and skin has never felt better. And when I moved out of the place that I was in, I liked my water filter so much that I was going to take it. And then my landlord said, why don't you just look up this brand on Amazon? And I was like, wow, what a good tip. Undisclosed, obvious ad. And every single post from this one account, because no one seems to look into it or care. And the comments, by the way, the reason why I'm saying it's so nefarious, the comments, by the way, are all just fighting over political things. Nobody's pointing out this is clearly an AI-generated content slop wrapped around an ad.
Did you click on any of the commenters? Do they seem to be human?
I didn't click on the commenters. But they were all just fighting about, Poland is this way because of whatever, Trump, blah, 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 something, blah, 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 whatever. It was all just political fighting.
I was reading about how brain rot seems to actually not be a figure of speech. Like, you know, how when our parents were kids, they said that like reading fiction was going to rot your brain. And then when the Gen Xers were kids, it was watching TV is going to rot your brain. And then for us, it was video games are going to rot your brain. But like, no, really. Like scrolling through shorts
seems to be very true.
And stories and whatnot seems to actually rot your brain. Like they're measuring very, very different cognitive outcomes for younger kids. I think we talked about this recently, but the really remarkable thing, sort of having lived on the internet for my entire adult life, has been watching the intelligence of humanity go like this and the intelligence of bots go like this. And I feel like we are dangerously close to the meeting point or maybe even past it, where
for certain members of society, I think we're touching.
Where the best bots or even a mediocre bot seems a lot more like a rational human being than a lot of people I encounter online.
And part of the problem, there needs to be 2x speed on TikTok to double the brain rot. That hurts me. That hurts me so much. That causes me physical pain. Part of the problem is that they're all wrapped up in human disguises, I guess. And to have your deception detector running 100% of the time is not a thing most people do. They're
saying they're also saying that Gen Z is supposed to be the most gullible generation ever.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is on Politico. Basically, just talking through how the sources of information that they go to are so full of disinformation that they just have no. Some of them, obviously, not all. You guys watch the WAN show, so you know what's up. But well, anyway, the point
free
is
therapy. Let's go.
But these platforms are so full of disinformation, and the test that they did was apparently it was about 3,000 students, and they showed them footage of like rioters, or not rioters, sorry, ballot box stuffers, and we're talking about sort of election fraud and voter fraud. And of the 3,000, 3 of them correctly identified that the footage was not in fact from America, but it was from Russia. 0.1%.
There must have been language in the footage.
No, there wouldn't be, because it's just like talking over it.
Text.
Oh, I don't know.
If you show a ballot box, there's got to be like writing on it, or a flag, or something. Anyway,
3 of them apparently thought to like reverse look up or Google it or just not take it for granted. I don't know, dude. It's kind of scary. And to be clear, I think that a lot of our audience, and as much as this is sort of for a really stupid reason, I think a lot of our audience is pretty well trained to look for multiple sources, because for us, choosing a component for our gaming rig is like really, really important. And as many problems as there are, tech coverage is still somewhat okay. Like, I don't think it's been polarized the same way that political coverage has. There's certain areas where I think there's a lot of that. I think on like the Apple versus Android side, things have devolved into the point where you can kind of not even really have a conversation.
Yeah, it's not so much that way with consoles anymore. It's just depression.
Yeah. There's
They used to fight, now they're just sad.
yeah. So I really am not necessarily talking about our audience here. I've seen a lot of evidence over the years that our audience is a cut above the average YouTube, commenter. Because I read a lot of comments on our channel. I read a lot of comments on other channels, and I don't know how to say this any more tactfully than I'm about to say it. But the general population on YouTube is pretty fucking stupid, right? Whereas there's, other than a few outliers, it's usually pretty well-reasoned discourse on our videos by comparison. And I don't know, if you disagree, then by all means insult our audience.
The only
I don't care.
reaction that I had wasn't that
I'm just their therapist. I'm not their friend.
Might be better. My reaction is that you're looking at YouTube as a whole. That might be a better reflection of like society.
Well, no, I know that's exactly what I mean. That's why I'm saying like these issues with a lack of media literacy. Not being able to tell the difference between, someone with journalism credentials and someone who just claims that they're a journalist every once in a while, but doesn't demonstrate any of the, obvious care and attention to journalistic standards, right? Like not being able to tell the difference. I think the folks that are over here can probably tell the difference better than the general population.
Yeah. One thing that I've been wondering about, I've like actually been thinking of emailing, like trying to find a university that has a, I don't know, psychologist that might work on something like this, and email them and see if they'll get back to me. But I genuinely wonder how much of it is the physical repetition. Because you know how like people that get addicted to smoking, some of them will need a replacement for the physical act of smoking, not just the nicotine.
Yep.
And something that I've been wondering about is all of these apps work the same. Like it's the infinite scroll concept that you've actually pushed back on in the past, but the infinite scroll concept of like, Facebook works that way, Instagram works that way, Twitter works that way, Threads works that way, TikTok works that way.
Everything works that way now.
Infinite scroll.
Dude,
so on your phone.
You're trying to get some product information, dude.
Yeah.
And every website is designed for you to have to scroll forever to find any information about it. I
genuinely wonder how much of the addiction is just going doing like this forever. Because people that will do this for 5 hours, which is not that much of an exaggeration.
There are like near idle games where you basically just like click a thing or tap a thing or...
So your brain is barely functioning, and you're doing some form of physical input. And people will talk about how you come out of it like in a haze. You don't even remember what you were doing for the last amount of time or whatever. So like, how much of that is the old TV concept of
clicking through the channels?
Like, how much of this is literally just you swiping your phone? Because it's weird to me how ubiquitous it is. There isn't any side-scrolling one. They're all the same thing. All the apps work the same way. And when you're like, oh, I should get off Instagram, and you load up Twitter, then you go do the same thing again. You're not actually escaping because they all act the same way. So they keep self-referencing.
Yeah, what is it about sliding our finger that is lower friction than tapping our finger? And I mean figurative friction. By the way, I want to make this abundantly clear.
Tinder's not the same.
We're not saying...
And Tinder's not as popular anymore.
We're not saying we're like better than other people. I doom scroll. Luke doom scrolls.
There's doom scrolling. Scrolling happens.
We get caught in it too. We're just, take this for what it is. Two fish caught in the net, talking to all the other fish in the net, going, how the fuck did we get in this net? And what the fuck is up with this?
I'm very proactive about trying to set up tools to help me avoid it when I can. I will actively, like, if I notice it starts to get bad with a certain app, I'll just remove it from my phone completely for at least a minimum period of time. I try to set up alarms, but sometimes those suck.
Yeah, and you can. Oh man, see, I was thinking about this the other night. What the market would be, because it's the classic XKCD standards strip, right? Like, why do so many standards exist? Because everything else is imperfect, and there's so many different standards. We should just have one that's like the one standard to rule them all, and then you just have another standard, right? Okay, so I was thinking, like, realistically, the last thing the world needs is another Android skin. But that video on the Light Phone 3 that we did recently, which is like that super basic phone that just does calling and text, you can take pictures and send pictures, and that is it. I got like 700,000, 800,000 views or something like that. So there's clearly interest in dumb phones, but what people were really frustrated by with that particular phone was that, like, it's kind of useless. Like, you can't pay for parking. You can't use it as a digital wallet. You can't send Wi-Fi messages, so you can't send messages on WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger. Like, it doesn't run apps. And I was thinking, like, if there was a justification for a new Android,
oh my God,
to exist. What's up?
No way.
Oh, you got a pie ad when you wanted to look at the. Yeah, okay, there you go. How many views does it have? I can't remember.
The video,
Yeah.
924,000.
Yeah, even more now. So people are clearly interested in this.
People care.
And I was thinking that would be a justification for a new skin of Android, or for a new handset maker to make a detox phone, but that actually has basic functionality. So, like, one of the things that you were talking about, setting alarms for, like, using apps. And you can do that on basically anything. You can say, like, oh, I want to limit my screen time to 1 hour of this a day or whatever. But as far as I know, they all just let you click add more.
Yes, or dismiss or whatever. And another big problem that I have is this sameness between the apps. So, because you can't do, like, I'm going to limit my social apps to this amount of time. So, okay,
right.
What? Do you do, like, 5 minutes? YouTube has scrollable shorts. Instagram has scrollable shorts. TikTok has scrollable shorts.
And a lot of creators upload to all of them anyway.
X has stuff. There's
they've got
so
lots of
many
stuff
different things. There's so many different things.
So much stuff. They've got so much stuff. They're going to need more than one X pretty soon.
Maybe three. Yeah.
There we go. So, what about that? What about a phone where you literally have to have an accountability buddy who...
I would love it.
Who keys in a pin, and when you set it, you actually cannot look at Twitter again that day.
Amazing.
You can't.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Because the only solution for me was literally to remove the apps from my phone.
Yeah. So I did that with Twitter, and Twitter's still off my phone. It's been off my phone for quite a while now. But the problem that I have is, like, I'll have a stupid app because one person that I know, that's the only way that they communicate. And then that app probably does other crap as well. And then I'll find myself just, like, accidentally diverted, and then, oh, whoa, how long just went by? Then it's like, darn it. So sometimes you can avoid those things more easily. Sometimes you can't. It is what it is. But yeah, it sucks. I really want to figure out, and it would be cool to me if someone made a video on it. I don't know if it makes sense to be an LTT video or not, but, like, what is the theory behind why this stuff is so addictive? I know, like, humans are generally addicted to information, and it's like absolute information overflow to be able to just scroll, and there's new stuff all the time. It's why scrolling on the TV was popular back in the day. But I think there's a physical element to it as well with the actual scrolling. I know there's a common perspective that comes up of, like, oh, I'll just keep scrolling until I find one more good one. But then how do you define a good one? So then you end up just scrolling forever. There's all these little concepts to it. But it would be interesting to know, because I haven't personally seen. Addiction is to stimuli, not information, I think. I feel like we're going to get in trouble because we're talking about non-tech stuff that we don't know anything about, and then people are going to be like, you should have known every single possible fact about this, again, every time, by the way. But I thought it was both. But I don't know.